Guys. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I'm not going to be here for long. I just wanted to talk to you guys really, really quick and say hello to everybody. I'll give you guys time to come into the chat. I'm only going to be here for a few minutes, but I wanted to talk about a story that I just read that involves student loan debt. In case you guys don't know, Black women are supremely educated. I'm having to put my socks on because we're about to go out to dinner tonight. And Black women are, from what I understand, the most educated group of people in America. They have more degrees than almost anybody. They're stacking paper on top of paper when it comes to the academics. And in fact, before we even begin the conversation, I hope you will join me in giving a round of applause to the Black woman for being, just so strong, so amazing, so extraordinary, so educated, and so capable. I think Black women deserve that support and that respect because we know how hard it is to get those degrees and to finish school and to do all this stuff. And Black women are the ones who are getting it in. And I think it's very important for us to acknowledge that. Now, with that said, there's a darker side to all of this. There's a dark side to the whole, go pick up the degree, get the paper kind of mindset. There's a big sort of issue there that people aren't talking about it. And it comes down to, what? Dun, 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 student loans, right? Student loans are the wealth killer for the entire Black community. Student loans are the dream killer for many Black people. Student loans are the hammer on top of the head of the economic future of so many of our people at this particular time. It's not just a national crisis, but as Tavis Smiley used to say, when white folks get sick, Black people get pneumonia. And student loans have become the financial STD that many people are trying to get through and carrying for the rest of their lives and not able to kind of knock that away. So what I wanted to do is kind of, first of all, ask you guys this question. Do me a favor, say something in the chat. Let me know yes or no, yes or no. Give me a yes or no. Have you been hit by student loans in your life? Are you a student loan survivor at this point? Have you been financially assaulted by student loans at some point? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. I see Tanja says yes, and Markeisha, Jimmy, Vantum. Yeah, okay, so give me a yes. All right, so I see a lot of people here saying yes. You've been hit by the student loan crisis. So you're not alone, right? So there's no shame in any of that. There's no reason to feel embarrassed, no reason to feel like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. What's wrong with me? No, it's not a matter of feeling stupid. It's a matter of saying I'm going to get smarter, right? So what I would encourage you to do is commit yourself to getting a little bit smarter and figuring out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. I think that's what's really important. Now, what is my background? I've mentioned some of you guys are new to the channel, so I'll just briefly mention to you. I taught on many college campuses: University of Kentucky, Indiana University, Syracuse University, the Ohio State University, University of Rochester. I taught in China. I taught in Europe. I've taught all around the world, and I also founded the Black Business School. Now, in all those years of teaching, I picked up a lot of things in terms of what education does for you and what it does not do for you. And I've also thought about these things specifically as it relates to Black people. Black people, that's all I care about. That's kind of all I pay attention to. Doesn't mean I don't care about anybody else. If you're white, doesn't mean you can't learn from me. There's a lot of stuff you can learn from this platform. But just so you know, the same way Harvard University was built for the white boys, we built the Black Business School for Black people, right? So it's okay. You can go to Harvard if you're not white. It's just know that that's not the reason Harvard was built. So you can come to the Black Business School and not be Black. Just know that that's not why we were built. We love everybody, but we are trying to solve a specific problem, which is the wealth issue in the Black community. So in my experience, extensive research, thousands of hours of kind of going through data, figuring things out. One of the things I can tell you is that the student loan situation has become the big bear in the room, the big elephant that has put so many people underwater financially that they can't get caught up. In fact, there's a study here on CBS's Market Watch is citing this study. Check this out. 12 years after entering college, white men have only paid off 44% of their loans. Right? That's horrible, right? So the student loans, 12 years later, they're still 56% of that debt is still sitting on their back. They're still carrying a mortgage with an invisible house, right? Like imagine this, you're paying a mortgage and you don't even have a house. Like that's the craziest thing, right? It's like, like I have a girlfriend, but she's not real. Or like imagine if you had to be committed in a committed, some of y'all might be in relationships like that, right? You ever imagine that when you're in a committed relationship and you're lonely, like that's kind of what it feels like to have student loan debt where you have a mortgage but no house. It's like being married to somebody and you ain't getting no sex and you ain't getting no affection, and because the person you're married to doesn't exist or they're nowhere to be found or they're never around. Well, the same thing is true with student loan debt. You've got this massive big debt. Most wealth builders, when they take on debt, most wealth builders at some point do take on debt. It's okay to take on debt, but usually when they take on debt, there's a reason they're taking on the debt. They've got the debt because the debt gives them a rental property that's paying them, monthly income every month. They've got the debt because they started a business that's making them $1 million a month. They've got the debt because they're invested in the stock market and they're making thousands of dollars every month on the stock market. But with student loans, you got the debt, and the question becomes, what is your ROI? What is it really giving you? For some people, it's giving them something, right? Like if you get a little bit of debt and you go and you get a job making 100-some thousand a year because you're an engineer, computer engineer, whatever, then it's a good move, right? But a lot of us take on a lot of debt and we end up in tough situations where the income does not give us what we need in order to repay the debt. So what happens is people go into, F it mode, like F it, like I don't care. I don't know if anybody know that, anybody in that position where you just kind of gave up on your student loans, where you just kind of said, you know what, I can either pay my loans or I can eat my ramen noodles, or and I'm going to choose ramen noodles, or I can pay my loans or I can be homeless, right? Or right. So it's like, or I can pay my loans or have a place to live, right? You get that trade off, and you're like, okay, I'm not messing with this. Well, let me just tell you this. Here's a couple quick thoughts. First, I'm gonna give you advice for your children and grandchildren because we're into generational wealth. Then I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice for yourself. Not even advice. I don't want to say it as advice. It's just analysis. How about that? I'll give you some analysis. If you have children, here's what I'm doing with my niece. We're not going into debt for either a private university or for a liberal arts degree. Those are the two things you don't go into debt for, in my opinion, or a lot of debt, because liberal arts degrees don't pay you enough money to repay the debt, and private universities overcharge you in a major way. The best universities are state universities because you can get a good education and still not take on a ton of debt. And you also should pick a major that's going to pay you enough money to repay the debt. Number two, when my niece goes to college, I will not send my black niece to college without her knowing the 3 pillars of wealth, the 3 ways that wealth is created in America and around the world: stock and bond investing, real estate investing, entrepreneurship. She will master those 3 things before she ever goes to some university and learns, it takes a class on Edgar Allan Poe. Learning Edgar Allan Poe and the periodic table might seem cute and nice and fun, but that's not what's going to pay her bills 9 times out of 10. What's going to pay her bills is the ability to generate income in a multitude of ways. For yourselves, what I encourage you to process is this. A lot of people say, well, I'm thinking about investing. Should I pay off my student loan debt before I start investing? I say no, because what you're doing when you're paying off a massive amount of debt with a very small income is you're committing 20, 30, 40 years of your life to trudging down a 300-mile road going 8 miles an hour, right? You're literally going to be, you're chopping off, $300 a month, $500 a month, whatever you can afford. You're living a miserable life. It takes you 25 years to get it done. By the time you get it done, you ain't got no teeth. Your hair done fell out. You're sitting in life support in the hospital, and you're like, look at me, Shani, I pay all my student loan. Woo-hoo. And then you drop dead. I don't think that's how you should go out. Don't go out like that. The way I would go out is I would leave. It's okay to leave the debt there and make other moves that will increase your income so you can repay the debt. So, for example, in the Black Business School, Julian Gordon teaches the Black Real Estate program, where he teaches people how to buy multifamily homes. And I actually took note and talked to Julian, and me and the missus. Y'all know I'm getting married to that beautiful Black woman on July 11th. All of y'all are invited to the wedding, by the way, Southside Chicago. What's up? Everybody, shout it out. Black love in the house. And we just bought a rental property. And so check this out. The rental property, the monthly rent costs this much. The monthly income, the monthly mortgage costs this much. The rent is that much. So we're making that much just by owning the property, right? And so there are ways to do that. So what a lot of people are doing is, rather than paying off the student loan debt, they're leaving the debt there and going and making a move that will allow them to pay the debt off faster. So if I'm a person who's buried under a lot of student loan debt, we've all been hit by the debt. There's no reason, ain't no shame in the game. Don't be embarrassed. Just fix it, right? You just got to fix it, because you got to take care of your kids and grandkids. I think a better strategy than trying to take on the debt directly with your income is to increase your income and get an asset, maybe even take on a little more debt to get an asset that pays off your debt faster, because it's much easier to pay, $1,000 a month in student loans if you have a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month bump in your income than it is to pay it on your current income, where you're going to be scratched down to eating ramen noodles and barely being homeless. Okay. So that's my thought. we're about to go out to dinner, and I thought I would share that with you guys. Shout out to all the Black women who have all the education, all the degrees. But one thing I want to encourage you guys to consider is that white education ain't always the best education. White education, unfortunately, at these universities can be overpriced and underperforming. I think Black education is the best education. We're on the frontier of that. So if you're interested in talking to any of our experts in the Black Business School, we have attorneys and lawyers and real estate experts and all kinds of people that come in, attorneys and lawyers, same thing, right? And PhDs, et cetera, that come in and answer your questions. They can help you out. So feel free to go check us out, theblackbusinessschool.com. We won't leave you in debt. You can actually sign up with a free membership if you want to. And then all of our programs don't cost you much more on a daily basis than a bucket of Popeye's chicken. And we know Black people will buy chicken. The question is, will Black people buy education? Will they invest in their future? I talk to you because I believe you're the kinds of people who will at least consider that. So go give it a try. Feel free. It's theblackbusinessschool.com. That's theblackbusinessschool.com. Also, if you want to meet in person and talk in person, I'm gathering a bunch of wealth builders for a private event in New York City next week, October 27th. If you want to come out, go to drboycenewyork.com. That's drboycenewyork.com. And we also have a business school for children at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So I'll see you guys soon. I'm about to go grub. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Peace.